calls and speeches and meetings. They barnstormed the city. The president now heading to Milwaukee. The president's replacement for the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, has gotten a chilly reception from House Democrats. The president of the Wisconsin Fair Trade Coalition, I want your reaction on this, said that the president's proposal, quote, fails to make the changes needed to stop outsourcing jobs. Doesn't the president, his motto has always been, keep the jobs here?
Well, and that's what this will do. This was one of President Trump's key promises on the campaign trail, that they would fix NAFTA, and that's what this NAFTA 2.0, this new and improved NAFTA, will do. It will help the agriculture community, the automobile community. It will bring jobs back. And you had Mexico has already approved the deal. Canada's ready to do it. The only thing holding it up right now are the House Democrats, and frankly, they don't want to give President Trump a win, and they're willing to sacrifice a win for American workers to keep him from getting a political victory.
Here's President Trump on Twitter, a couple tweets on trade. When you are the big piggy bank that other countries have been ripping off for years to a level that is not to be believed, tariffs are a great negotiating tool, a great revenue producer, and most importantly, a powerful way to get companies to come to the U.S. and to get companies that have left us for other lands to come back home. He makes a good point there.
Well, and we're seeing that happen. Again, we look at the tariffs a lot of the times or taxes of what the U.S. is charging for goods and services to come here, but we've had a huge imbalance that President Trump has been pointing out as we send our goods and our services to other countries. And in some cases, it's the non-tariff barriers to trade that keep us out that are even worse than the taxes. We may have access to a market, but only if we jump through certain hoops that actually keep U.S. products out. So he's right. He's trying to level the playing field, and it's been unlevel for so long. As we raise our taxes, people complain, but we're already facing high taxes to get our goods into other countries.
Yeah, Wisconsin, by the way, we can't ignore the fact that it's a key 2020 state. In fact, Wisconsin was one of 3 Midwestern states that were part of a so-called blue wall for Democrats that voted, in fact, instead for Trump in 2016. He actually became the first Republican to carry Wisconsin in a presidential race since Ronald Reagan won the state, I think, in 1984. So how is economy and trade going to impact the race in 2020?
Well, I think, first of all, you're hitting exactly the right point. How does it play specifically in those battleground states, the Ohios, the Michigans, the Pennsylvanias, the Wisconsins? So you've got farmers in those states, you've got automobile manufacturers, you've got steel industry that's coming back. The way that the tariffs and this trade disputes will play in those states matters a lot more than what polls may say in New York or in California. I think the other big stumbling block right now is what happens with China. They've been trying to negotiate a China trade deal, resolve this trade dispute for a while. We've had our negotiators say we're 90% there. Well, if I jump off a building there in New York today, 90% of the way down, I'm going to be good. It's the last 10% that's always the toughest, whether it's in a negotiation or whether you're falling and plummeting off a building. So the last 10% is the hardest, and they're not just fighting over tariffs or non-tariff barriers. We're fighting with China over institutional barriers. We're talking about manipulation of currency, information technology. There are a lot of issues beyond just how many soybeans or cars or things get sold, and that's the hardest part of the deal, and why a lot of people are feeling that the prospects of a deal this year have perhaps dimmed in recent weeks.
All right, Steve Gill, thank you very much joining us on a very busy news day. I'm glad we got to talk about this. Thank you.
Thanks.